Thank you all for coming today as we celebrate and remember the life of Lorraine Zito. There are some people in this room who only saw how brightly Lorraine sparkled through the brutal fog of advancing dementia. For their love and care, we are eternally grateful. I so wish you could have known Mom before her disease progressed. While her smile endured, it was a mere flicker of its former brilliance. That smile and the twinkle in her eyes radiated joy to anyone fortunate enough to be in the room with her. She enveloped everyone in her love and always took an avid interest in the lives of her children, grandchildren, nieces, and nephews. Excuse me. She had boundless energy and was happiest when cooking for her family, often broadly defined, gathering us all around the dining room table to share in traditional Italian feasts. I remember the torture of Mom cooking the family Sunday sauce on Saturday. The aroma was heavenly, but we wouldn't eat it until the next day, had to let the flavors meld, she said. Mom would always surreptitiously slip each of us a meatball to sate our appetite until the next day. In her senior year of high school, Mom starred in the class production of Meet Me in St. Louis. After the final curtain, Dad met Mom backstage to ask her out to the cast party that night. Mom said she had already told Eddie Sherman she would go with him. Dad said, "Well, tell him you're not. I have to bring my parents home, then I'll be back for you. Please wait." She waited. And so began a beautiful 72-year courtship. Mom and Dad got married in July of 1957 and honeymooned on Cape Cod, beginning a lifelong family tradition. Adrian and I honeymooned on the Cape, as did Danny and Isabel. Lori and Kenny took it up a notch and they live on Cape Cod year-round. Growing up each summer, our family joined 9 others vacationing at Pilgrim Springs cottages in Wellfleet. Every year, the same families stayed in the same cabins, took over the swaths of real estate at Newcomb Hollow Beach, enjoyed enormous clam bakes and trips to Provincetown. When we held a reunion in 1991, Mom and Dad went shopping for a home on the Cape, settling on a wonderful property in Harwichport large enough for their growing family to gather. While honeymooning, Mom insisted on buying an ironing board. It's the only ironing board she ever owned. Anyone who knows Mom knows she was a fastidious housekeeper. She ironed our underwear, our shoelaces. She ironed anything and everything that came out of the dryer. And it wasn't just the laundry. Everything was kept spick and span. And resting Mom could be found out front in the walk with a bucket of bleach and a scrub brush, removing the tanning stains on the concrete left by fallen leaves. A favorite picture of mine is Mom with her signature smile and granny glasses on her hands and knees, scrubbing the algae stains off the siding in Harwichport while a young Samantha looks on in diapers. Never too early to teach such skills. Lorraine taught high school English until April of 1958, when Tracy was born and she took on the role of Mom. Over the next 6 years, she would give birth to 4 more children. Years later, Mom and her dear friend Rosemary, who also had 5 children, were discussing their grandchildren and reminiscing over a glass of wine. One asked, how did we do it? And the other responded, I don't know. Having raised only 2 children, I can't imagine how she did either. But my siblings and I are so grateful for everything Mom did for us. Daily trips to the IBM Country Club and the big Ford station wagon, setting up our home-based blanket with the Patrick family and turning us loose to romp around and swim. Back to school shopping down Poughkeepsie's Main Street, where we were always outfitted in the latest fashions because, well, Mom was always on top of such things. The ease with which she balanced cooking, cleaning, and making sure she made time for each of her children. I recall when someone once marveled at how unique each of the 5 of us were. Mom's response was simply to humbly say, "Thank you." We are unique because we had a mother who loved us unconditionally, encouraged our individual strength, and advocated in our best interests. Mom was unabashedly liberal, a trait she passed on to her children through exposure to the issues of the day as we were growing up: civil rights, protesting the war in Vietnam, and environmental activism. As young children, we attended memorial services for Martin Luther King Jr. and RFK. We were held out of school to march in the moratorium parade protesting the senseless war. Mom's collection of peace sign jewelry was large and varied, had to be, so she could accessorize her diverse and fashionable wardrobe. We sweated profusely making stone soup under the Mid-Hudson Bridge, listening to Pete Seeger playing his banjo from the deck of the sloop Clearwater. We became part of a community of faith that with other families at the Union Street Community Center, led by Father Fred. Together we traveled to the Catholic Worker Farm and to Harlem, where we helped paint houses and were exposed to the lives of many less fortunate than us. These experiences left a lasting impression on her young children. Mom was active in the Dutchess County Democratic Party. To watch Mom work a room was to know her skill in the political arena. That irresistible smile, her knowledge of the issues, and her certainty that whatever they were working on could get done and would make the world a better place. In the tumultuous year of 1968, Mom ran a mayoral campaign for Reverend Bob Dixon. That entire year, there was a 2.5 by 8 foot yellow plywood sign atop our station wagon, encouraging people to vote Dixon, Roby. Mom co-chaired the McGovern campaign in 1972, working long hours in the downtown headquarters, optimistically convinced that he would win and enlisting the aid of her children in getting mailings out. And in 73, Mom ran for the Reed County District, a race she lost by 11 votes. After 20 years in Poughkeepsie, Mom and Dad moved the family to Reston, Virginia, where Mom began her career with the National Association of Social Workers. She continued her work with NASW as she and Dad moved to Atlanta, Chicago, and eventually back to DC. Her background in education, instinctive people skills, and organizational prowess led to a long and successful career, eventually rising to her role as the director of the NASW Continuing Education Program. When she and Charlie retired, they settled into their new role as grandparents back in Washington. Lorraine reveled in spoiling her 8 grandchildren, going to the movies with Charlie, and entertaining friends and family with her superb cooking. She relished her anniversary trips to New York, staying at the fabled Algonquin Hotel, going out to dinner, and a Broadway show with her beloved Charlie. It is said that you lose those with dementia twice. It was difficult to see the energy and understanding slowly leave Mom, but in a perverse way, that long battle has made losing her marginally easier. Lorraine was a true force for good in this world. Her core belief in the innate kindness of all people and enthusiastic work championing equality and justice for all has left the world a better place. And now she is in a better place. Lorraine Vivian Cecilia Sepola Zito, may her memory be a blessing to you all. Just wanted to add, if you have not read the prayer for St. Francis that is on the back of the program, please do, because it does a better job than I did here of telling you who she was. And one last announcement, these comments have been edited for brevity and decorum. For more, please join us for lunch at Zaffarelli's at 728 Pine Street in Herndon after the ceremony. Thank you.